Hello to all the fans and lovers of the best show on earth, which is the Vampire Diaries. I welcome you at a beautiful 21st episode, which is called Isobel. I apologize for the delay in uploading, but last week has been crazy. My husband has been in a hospital. He had to have emergency surgery and have his appendix taken out, so it has been insane. I also was uploading, or not uploading, but recording the Czech version on Friday, but then the usual editor was just not working. They did some kind of an update and it was just impossible to work with. So I had to actually get a different editor, which I'm not used to, I'm not familiar with, and it was really hard to just get the episode out. And it just feels like everything has been just going against me this past week. So it's just has been insane. But anyways, I am so happy to be here and to do this episode with you guys. Please let me know if you do listen and like the English versions of the podcast, because it has been becoming very time consuming for me, and especially if something new comes up, like something unexpected, it's really hard for me to manage my time and to get it done in the week. So if you do enjoy these English episodes, please let me know in the comments. It would really help for me to determine if I should keep going or if I should maybe just stick to the Czech version, since we will be starting season 2 soon. So I was thinking maybe, if people are not really listening to the English version, I would just do the Czech one. But anyways, let me know if you enjoy these. I will be more than happy to continue to upload them because I do enjoy them as well. I cannot believe that we are approaching the season finale so fast, and next week we will be talking about the last episode of the first season, which is insane. And as I mentioned, it's one of my most adored season finales of all times in Vampire Diaries. So let's dive right in the first scene. We find ourselves where we ended up, or where the last episode, or no, where the episode before this one ended, which is Isobel and Rick at the grill. And Isobel is telling Rick, "It's so good to see you. You look good. I hear that you're a high school history teacher. How is that? Where have you been, Isobel? I don't have any reasons that are gonna comfort you. I don't have any explanations that are gonna satisfy you. I wanted this. It's that simple. Yeah, you were supposed to mourn me and move on. You were my wife and I loved you. How could I not search for you? Because I wasn't lost, Rick." Then Isobel is taking a napkin from the bar and she's starting to write something. And she says, "I understand that you know my daughter Elena, and I hear that she's been looking for me, so..." And then Rick makes like a noise like like, "Are you kidding me?" And Isobel continues, "I want you to arrange for a meeting with us." She gives Rick the napkin and he cannot believe what he is hearing, and he says, "You want me to deliver a message?" And she smiles so sweetly and she's like, "Yeah." Alaric throws away the napkin and says, "Screw you, you selfish bitch." And then he walks off. Next, we find ourselves in the parking lot where Rick is walking to his car, but Isobel appears again. And Alaric is like, "What do you want from me?" "I told you. I am not gonna do anything for you." Isobel then jumps towards him and she grabs him under his throat and she chokes him a little bit. Also, her vampire veins appear under her eyes and she says, "You better tell Elena that I want to meet, or I'm gonna start killing the citizens of this town one by one, and I'm gonna start with your history students. Got it?" Then she throws the napkin on the floor and Rick gets up and he takes it because this threat is not, he doesn't take it very lightly. As I mentioned, I never liked Isobel. I never liked the way she talks, the tone of her voice, and how this actress portrays Isobel. But in this scene, I realized that they did pick her very well, because I can see the resemblance that she has with Elena, which of course was the intention of the makers, but I do not like her. She's annoying to me, the way she talks and everything, and how she tries to be such a badass, but I'm not really buying it. After this, we see on the screen the Vampire Diaries, and this episode is officially starting. In the next scene, we are in Elena's house and she is talking to Damon on the phone. She is complaining to him that she has to help Caroline build Miss Mystic float for the Founders Day parade. And then she just says, I just wanted to ask, how is everything? And Damon is like, well, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And Elena is like, I'm checking on Stefan. And Damon's like, oh, him? Oh, he's terrible. She gets scared and she's like, what? What's the matter? Oh, he's just back to boring, straight-laced off the junk. You've successfully cured him of anything that was interesting about his personality. Elena says, don't forget who helped me. I hate myself, Damon smiles, and then he changes subjects and he's like, hey, did Uncle John mention anything to you about my field trip with the history teacher? And Elena's like, no, I'm still avoiding him. Why? What is he up to? Oh, I don't know, but I love if you could find out for me. I've gotta go, I'm late. Have fun with the Misty Queen. I know I did. And then Elena hangs up the phone. And I hate I hate this sentence that Damon says. Have fun with the Misty Queen, because that is so nasty, because Damon was compelling Caroline, he was drinking her blood, he was hurting her, he was mean to her, and he was using her. And I've always hated this about Damon, everything he did to Caroline, and also that he killed Lexi. At the end of Elena and Damon's phone call, Stefan walks into the room and he has his towel on his shoulder and he kind of like looks at Damon like, hey, what are you doing? And we realize that Damon the entire time was in Stefan's room on Stefan's phone talking to Elena. So Damon gets up, he goes to Stefan, gives him the phone and says, Elena called. Then he smiles and walks away. Stefan looks completely shocked and also looks like he's not quite a fan of Damon and Elena being such good friends. So Damon just walks to Stefan's room and Stefan's phone was ringing, so he picked it up and had a chat with Elena, which is hilarious. It's very Damon-like, and you should always take your phone with you, even to the shower, just like I do. I am crazy. I always take my phone everywhere, and when I'm showering, I usually listen to my true crime podcast, which is such not a good thing to do. Then I'm like paranoid all the time, but that's what I do. Then we are back in the high school. We are in the cafeteria. Rick gives students some instructions about the floats that they were going to be building, and he tells Tyler that he's been nominated to be like the leader of this project, and he just tells him like pick a team and just don't screw it up. And Rick sees Elena and Stefan walking in, and he heads towards them because he wants to talk to them. And then Tyler is asking Matt if he wants to help him with this project with the floats, but Matt says no, not really, because he's still pissed about Tyler making out with his mom, which is totally understandable. And then Rick heads over to Elena and Stefan and says that they have to talk. Also in the next scene we have Bonnie and Caroline, and we haven't had them for so long together. So Bonnie and Caroline are together, and Caroline is opening this like super old laptop, which we all probably had around the year 2009, and she bangs the float, but I really think that had to be like a paid advertisement, because I'm sure she would Google it like a normal person. But anyways, Caroline is showing Bonnie what the float looked like last year and what they do not want to do this year. And let's read some facts from Wikipedia about the floats, because I didn't really know much about it, so I looked it up. So the floats, the float cars or wagons have their origin in medieval times. The first floats were pageant wagons in medieval pageant plays and later decorated barges, hence the name float, on the river Thames. By the late 1800s, carriages, wagons, and horses were commonly adorned with flowers for parades such as 1891 Battle of Flowers in San Antonio. As cars became popular, they replaced horses. Early 1900s parades often featured decorated automobiles. Companies quickly used parades to showcase vehicles, such as the 1927 parade featuring an international motor truck and the 1930s to 50s GM Parade of Progress. Early floats use real flowers and artistic decoration, a tradition known as the Battle of Flowers, as was mentioned before. And also, these floats are still used to this day at like carnivals in Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo or Viareggio in the Malta Carnival. Also, you could see them at the Macy's Parade for Thanksgiving Day or Mardi Gras in New York, or a festival of in Gasparilla, and also the inauguration ceremonial for President of the United States. So this was just something about the floats, and now let's look what Bonnie and Caroline are talking about. Bonnie is asking Caroline what is she thinking for the float, and Caroline says Southern classic elegance. And Bonnie's like, Gone with the Wind? How did you know? You channel Scarlett daily. And Caroline's like, so true. And Scarlett is the main character of the book Gone with the Wind, which is a book by Margaret Mitchell from 1936. And there's an also movie made that is based on the book that came out in 1939. And it's about the American Civil War, or, the war, the North against the South. And it is also the second most popular book in the United States right after the Bible, which was very interesting to me. So this is what Caroline is hinting at, or this is what they're talking about. Then Caroline says, where is Elena? She's supposed to be helping. Bonnie tells her that she doesn't know, and Caroline says that it's not nothing. This whole float thing is supposed to be friends creating something together. And everyone is fighting. Matt and Taylor hate each other. You and Elena are on the outs, and I don't like it. And I can't fix it if I don't know what's wrong. And Bonnie says, I can't talk about it, Caroline. I'm sorry. Because Caroline right now doesn't know anything about vampires or witches or spells or just anything supernatural. Caroline is still in the dark about any of this. In the next scene, Damon is walking into Rick's classroom and he wants to make a little joke like, sorry, I'm late, my dog ate my, he wants to say homework, but he doesn't, because he looks around and he sees that everybody is really tense. So he's like, never mind. And then he's like, what's with all the furrowed brows? And Alaric says, I saw Isobel last night. And Damon, Isobel is here in town? And Alaric nods that she is. In the next scene, we see a car that is approaching a beautiful, huge house. The car stops and Uncle John gets out of it. He's walking inside of the house. He's wearing sunglasses, like the biggest, coolest guy ever. He's walking inside and then he sees a naked couple, like half naked couple, dancing together, and Isobel is watching them. John is asking her, what is that? Like, what does that mean? What is she doing? And she says, oh, I got this girl Cherie in a bar in Brooklyn, and I got this guy in a gay bar in Texas. And then she tells them in French, cassez-vous, which is something like, get out or get away from here or just go away. Then she tells John, I'm teaching them French. Oh, I can smell the judgment coming off of you. Well, they are people, Isobel, and you're treating them like dolls. If we were going to be partners, you really have to stop being such a hater. We are in a partnership together because we share a mutual goal. Don't ever confuse that for acceptance of your lifestyle. And she's like, my lifestyle? And then she tells him that none of his plans worked, how to get the invention from Damon, not like blackmailing Damon, killing Pearl, and any of the other stuff. So she says she's taken control and she's gonna take it from there. And she also slaps John, but like a lot. And she just tells him that he failed and she's taken over. In the next scene, we are in Rick's classroom where we see Rick, Stefan, Damon, and Elena. Damon is asking Rick if he asked Isobel about John, if they are working together, and if he asked her about the invention, if he asked her about the tomb vampires. And Rick says to all of that, no. And Damon's like, did you even ask her anything? And Alaric is like, no, I was a little too distracted by my dead vampire wife to ask any questions. Then Damon turns to Elena and he is asking her, what does Isobel want? And Elena says that Isobel wants to meet with Elena. Damon tells Elena that she doesn't have to meet with her unless she wants to, which is nice of him. But Elena says she doesn't really have a choice, and Alaric adds, she's threatened to go on a killing spree. And then Damon like looks around the room and he's like, oh, I take it that's not okay with you guys, which is like so funny. I love that because he's like, oh, that's not okay with you guys. Like he's like, okay. And then Elena says, I want to do it. I want to meet her. If I don't, I know I'll regret it. And in this scene, Damon and Elena share very intense looks and look at each other basically this entire scene. Then we find ourselves at the grill where Elena is sitting alone at a table and Stefan is like lurking around the pool table like as her bodyguard because, she's gonna meet Isobel. So Elena is talking to him and he can hear her because he has the vampire ears, and she's thanking him that he's there with her, and she says that she is nervous, and then she says, I love you. And Stefan just mouths back to her that I love you too, which she cannot hear, but she can see his lips. Then Isobel is walking in and she doesn't even acknowledge Elena. She's first like puts her stuff down on a chair and then she sits down, and only after that she looks at Elena and she says, hello Elena, you look just like her. That's eerie. And Elena's like, you've met Catherine? She found me after I turned. Genetic curiosity, I suppose. She would be fascinated by you. And then Elena is looking at a pendant that Isobel has on her neck, and she's asking her if that's her protection against the sun, and she says yes, and that that Catherine helped her obtain it. And then Elena is asking her who is her father, but Isobel says he was a teenage waste of space. So that doesn't really help. And then Elena says to that a name would be nice, and Isobel's like, it would, wouldn't it? You ask a lot of questions. Elena is then asking her why did she compel the guy to kill himself in front of Elena, and that was that episode when Elena met with Trudy, and Isobel says that it was just for like a dramatic, she just wanted a dramatic purpose or dramatic effect to have on her, which didn't really work. And then Isobel is asking Elena why did she choose Stefan and not Damon, or if she's dating both of them like Catherine did. Then we are outside in the town square where we see Rick and Damon. Damon says that they should be inside, but Rick says that they cannot because Isobel said very strictly that if they go inside, she's going to start killing people. Damon's like, I'm not going to kill her in a crowded restaurant. Alaric, you're not going to kill her, period. She ruined your life and you still want to protect her? She's my wife. Damon looks at him. Was my wife. I looked for the woman I married, but she wasn't there. Whoever that is, she's cold and detached. Yeah, she's given up her humanity. And Alaric is like, yeah, I see. I don't get that. Stefan has his humanity. He's a good guy. And you're a dick and you kill people, but I still see something human in you. But with her, there was nothing. And Damon says, you can turn it off. Like a button you can press. I mean, Stefan's different. He wants the whole human experience. He wants to feel every episode of How I Met Your Mother, so he shuts his feeling out. The problem is, as a vampire, your instinct is not to feel. Isabel chose the easier road. No guilt, no shame, no regret. I mean, come on. If you could turn it off, wouldn't you? You haven't. Of course I have, Rick. It's why I'm so fun to be around. And I was surprised by this because I know I talked about this a couple episodes back, and I was kind of thinking out loud like, does Damon have his emotions in the first season or does he not? And now he says that out loud, and I googled it, and it says that he didn't have his emotions off in the first season because if he would, then he wouldn't want to find Catherine so bad because he wouldn't feel love or need to find her. He would just not care. So I think that Damon is lying in this scene and he doesn't have his emotions off. Again, if you have any suggestions, please put in the comments. Also, I think he wouldn't be so close to Elena and he wouldn't be able to feel anything like any compassion for Rick. So I really think that he's just messing around in this scene. But it's funny because I watched this show so many times and I never once remembered that Damon said this out loud in the first season, that his feelings are off. Then we are back in the grill and Elena is asking Isobel, what do you want from me? That it cannot be just to catch up. Isobel says, because I'm curious about you. But the real reason is, I want what your uncle wants. Jonathan Gilbert's invention. How do you know my uncle? I used to spend a lot of time here when I was younger. John had a crush on me for years. He was the first one that told me about vampires. So, what made you want to be one? It's a very long list of reasons, Elena, all of which I'm sure you've thought about. No, that was your first lie. It's inevitable. You're going to get old. Stefan won't. Forever doesn't last very long when you're human. I'm sorry, but I don't have what you're looking for. She gets up, but Isobel catches her arm and forces her to sit back down. And she says, sit down. Stefan starts to walk towards them, and Isobel says, and tell your boyfriend to walk away. I want the invention. I don't have it. I know, but Damon does, and you're going to get it for me. He is not going to give it to me. Then the blood will be on your hands. Isobel then grabs her stuff and she walks off. Without even looking back at Elena, she says, it was nice meeting you, Elena. And the way she says it, there is like no emotions in that. Like, it is so sad. Elena starts to cry and Bonnie walks into the grill. And they look at each other. Bonnie starts to head towards Elena, but then she sees Stefan and she just walks away. Back at Elena's house, Jeremy is leaving a voicemail for Anna. And he's asking her where she is and if she can call him back. Then Jenna is asking how Anna is, and she says that Anna is cool, that she's like fire, and that Jenna likes her. Jer says that he doesn't know because she didn't get back to him. Uncle John is walking in and he's asking Jeremy if he has any girl trouble, and Jer is like no. Then John is asking him if it's the same girl that he saw Jeremy with at the Miss Mystic pageant, and Jer is like, yeah, why? And John's like, oh, nothing, nobody else likes me in this house, so I just wanted to start a conversation. Jenna walks away very disgusted. She's very disgusted with John and just walks away. And then John says to Jeremy, so seriously, how well do you know Anna? I know Anna extremely well. I want you to know that you can talk to me about anything. I'm here to answer any questions that you have, to help you in any way that I can. Why? Because your dad would want me to. Oh, I'm good. And then Jer walks away. And I love in this scene how Jenna and Jer look at each other and they have this like shared disgust towards Uncle John, which I share with them as well. In the next scene, we are in Isobel's house, or at least the house that she took for now. And Damon is playing strip poker with Sherry, which is that girl that Isobel got in New York. In this scene, Isobel is walking in and she says, and it's just the one blast from the past after another. Then she says in French to Sherry to go away, and she listens and walks away. Damon says to Isobel, "It's good to see you, Isobel. I was just having fun with your naughty little minion." "How did you find me?" "Searched all the neighborhood bank-owned foreclosures and found the most expensive one." "Oh, I should have known. You're the one who taught me that. What are you really doing here?" "Well, you caused quite a stir. You blew into town, saw everyone except the man who made you. I'm a little hurt." And then Damon leans towards her and she says, "I'm so sorry." And then she twists Damon's head around like at vamp speed. And she says, "Did you bring the device?" And then he disengages at vamp speed from her and says, "Ow, what are you doing with John Gilbert?" Isobel says, "We did it a few times when we were young. He was a little bit in love with me." "I'm sure, one of the many. Now, this little invention, what do you want with it?" "Oh, me personally? I don't want anything with it. I'm just doing what I'm told." "You know, Damon, we are on the same side." "Oh, yeah? And what side is that?" "Catherine's. She wants John Gilbert to have the device, and I think that you know that she's not happy when she doesn't get what she wants." "Why are you doing her dirty work?" "Don't kill the messenger. We both know that you can't control Catherine. She does what she wants. So do I." "Oh, really, Damon? You do?" She comes closer to him. "What should we do now?" They both start laughing. And then they start kissing, which is gross. And she says, "Memory serves," which means, okay, they did definitely do something like that in the past. And Damon then slams her on the floor at vamp speed and holds her by the throat, and he like holds her down on the floor and says, "Now that I have your attention, listen up. You do not come to my town, threaten the people I care about, going after Elena. Bad move. You leave her alone or I will rip you to bits, because I do believe in killing the messenger. And you know why? Because it sends a message." Then he slams her head again against the floor and says, "Catherine wants something from me? You tell that little bitch to come get it herself." And you know what's really interesting? Damon, in this scene and this little speech of his, actually admits that he cares about some people, which is a very big for Damon. And this scene is like, Isobel and Damon are kind of playing like catch or something, and they're like snapping at each other and they have this like banter or whatever. But again, Isobel is playing like so cool, and it almost seems like she is the older vampire in this scenario, and that like she will be able to take Damon on. But I'm very glad that Damon kind of puts her in her place and shows her that he is in fact the older vampire and can still win a fight with her. And also very gross that Damon slept with Elena's mom, which is Isobel, which you mentioned in one of the previous episodes. That is just not good. And then we are in Elena's house. Somebody's knocking on the door, and it is Bonnie. And she says, "I couldn't sleep last night. You were obviously upset about something, and I just walked away. It's not me. This can't be us. You're my friend, Elena. If you need me, I'm here for you. And I'm sorry I couldn't show you that yesterday." Elena says, "I met my birth mother." "Oh, was it? Are you okay?" Elena cries and shakes her head, and then Bonnie holds her in her arms. Then we are back at the high school where we see Matt, who is working on the float, and Tyler comes over to him and asks him if he's okay, and that Caroline tells him that he's on his own now. Matt snaps at him that if he seriously is asking him about his mom, he can just tell her to give him a call whenever she's back in town, and Tyler's like, "No, I didn't mean it like that. I just tried to talk to you and I don't know what to say." And Matt then says, "Don't say anything. You're a dick. End of story." And Tyler is like, "I know." And then Matt walks away, and Tyler says to himself, "Yeah, whatever." Then we are in the classroom with Bonnie, and Elena is coming in. Bonnie has a huge spell book in front of her, and like very old timey looking. And Elena is asking her, "Is that Emily's spell book?" and Bonnie says, I've been going through it since Graham's died. Check this out. And then she's showing her the book and says, according to Emily, Jonathan Gilbert never actually succeeded in inventing anything. Emily secretly spelled them all with magic, compass, rings, and the mystery device you told me about. Yeah, that's it. Well, part of it. Damon only has the one piece. Emily pledged her loyalty to Catherine, but she couldn't stand by and watch innocent people get killed. This was the only way she could think of to help, to let Jonathan Gilbert believe that he actually invented these devices. Does it say what it does? Are you sure this is what Isobel wants? Is Bonnie asking Elena, and Elena's like, yeah, I'm sure, why? This is a weapon against vampires. And what was a little bit weird to me is that they didn't talk about this in like Bonnie's or Elena's house. Like, why were they talking about this in a classroom where anybody can walk in and they have this like giant ass spell book on the table there at school? Like, that was really weird to me. Then we are back outside where the kids are working on the floats, and Jeremy is calling calling at Elena, like to come over. And she is asking Jeremy if he saw Stefan. Jerry says no, but that he needs to talk to her. Elena is asking what's up, and he says that he cannot reach Anna. And Elena's like, Anna, I didn't know you guys were still friends. We're more than friends. Look, something could be seriously wrong, and if you know anything, you gotta tell me. I haven't talked to her, Jer. Are you lying to me right now? Why'd you say that? Because all you do is lie. You lie about everything. And I know what Anna is, and I know that you know. So tell me, do you have any idea where she is? No, but Jeremy, wait, Jeremy. But Jer is leaving, and Elena still like calls to him. Then Elena turns around, and right there is Isobel. And Elena is asking her, what are you doing here? And Isobel says, I'm your mother, Elena. I want to be more involved in your life. And Elena's like, I don't want you in my life. I understand that. You already have a lot of people that you care about, but I've been studying. Let's see if I got this right. Isobel looks over at Bonnie and says, there is a witchy best friend, Bonnie. Gonna stay away from that one. Then she looks at Jeremy. Oh, sad little brother Jeremy. Then she looks at Caroline. And there's Caroline, obnoxious Caroline. I get all of my info from her, by the way. She had no idea who I was, and she wouldn't stop yapping. Then she looks over at Matt. And there's Matt, friend, ex, Yappy's future ex. Lots of connections there. Matt is not involved in this. He's involved with you, isn't he? Look, you shouldn't be here. You need to leave. Now, I have some friends here too. Look, you see that man over there standing next to Matt by the float? His name is Frank. He's very handsome, and he's also quite handy, and he'd noticed that the axles are a little rusty, which is very dangerous. So all you have to do is apply a little bit of pressure, and then Frank jumps on the trailer above Matt, and then the trailer falls and crushes Matt's arm. Elena tries to run to him, but Isobel grabs her. And Matt is screaming to pick it up, so some guys run over and they pick up the trailer and free Matt. And then, Caroline is calling the ambulance. Elena is totally in a shock, and she is asking Isobel, why are you doing this? I'm showing you how easy it is to hurt the people that you care about. And you're doing this just because of Jonathan Gilbert's invention? Hand it over and all will be stopped. I told you, Damon is not going to give it to me. I think that you underestimate how much Damon cares about you. He'll kill you before he gives it up. Is that before or after I kill your brother Jeremy? And then Elena starts looking around, or she looks where Jeremy just was standing, but he's gone. So Elena starts to call Jeremy's name, and she cannot see him, and Isobel is also gone. Caroline then says that the ambulance is 20 minutes away, so Tyler offers to drive Matt to the hospital, but Matt refuses and says that Caroline can drive him. She says, though, that she doesn't have her car, And that Matt is like, well, I'm just gonna wait for the ambulance. So then Caroline gets mad and she's like, you will not wait, okay? You need to see a doctor. Tyler is driving. End of story. And then Matt, after this, when Caroline snaps at him, agrees, and Tyler runs away to get his car. And it is super funny that Caroline has to basically yell at Matt so that he agrees to be driven by Tyler. And I absolutely love it because men sometimes just need to be yelled at a little bit, I think. I would also love to know how Isobel timed for Frank to jump at the trailer right at the exact moment while Isobel was talking to Elena. Frank, if he was a vampire, then I can see that because he would hear her. I was Googling it, and according to Google, both Frank and Sherry are vampires. But that doesn't make sense to me because if they were both vampires, then Isobel wouldn't be able to compel them and order them around. Unless they were like sired to her completely. But I don't know. Even when John comes over to Isobel and Isobel says that Frank is from some gay bar in Texas, John is like, he is gay, and she's like, not right now, which implies that Isobel compelled him not to be gay or to forget that he is gay, right? So it doesn't really make much sense to me how she would time it with Frank if he wasn't a vampire and didn't have super vampire hearing. And if he is a vampire, how did Isabel compel him? Because she is not able to compel other vampires. And I also want to note that Jonathan Gilbert has been dead for over 100 years, and he is still such a celebrity because this is what people are talking about for the past couple of episodes, and it's insane. In the next scene, we are in Isabel's house, and John is walking in. He sees that Isabel has her stuff packed, and he says it's good that she's leaving. And why did she call him over? And if she has the device that they need. But she says she has the next best thing. John then follows Isobel, and he sees that Jeremy is there. And John is like, what the hell are you doing? Getting what I want. Yeah, but he is my nephew, and you're going to let him go right this second. Isobel says that John's ring has to come off, which is totally different topic. And then John is like, come on, Isobel, I know you, okay? It's me, John. You can't hurt a kid. And she's like, I'll kill him to prove you wrong. Really? Are you that far gone? Look, I know you've changed, but the old Isobel is still somewhere in there, isn't she? Come on, let him go. Isobel says in French to Frank and Cherie, faites-le souffrir, which is make him suffer. And then Frank and Cherie starts to beat John up. And then Isobel takes his ring away. And she says, nice try. We'll see how you do without this. Then Isobel leaves, and Jeremy is looking over at John, who is on the floor bleeding. And I don't know, I really don't like Isobel. And in this scene, she kind of pretends like John's speech or what he's saying to her, it has some kind of impact on her, and she just has this stupid expression on her face, and I really don't enjoy Isobel at all. In the next scene, we are back at the school in Rick's classroom. Bonnie is asking where is the device. Stefan says that Damon has it, but it's going to be hard to get it from him. And that he's not going to just give it to them because it's a device against vampires. And then Elena says, well, what if it's not? And then Bonnie, Elena, and Stefan look at each other. In the next scene, we are in Damon's house, and we jump again right in the middle of conversation, so we understand that Elena already caught Damon up on everything about the device and asking him for it and all of that, because Damon's like, absolutely not. And she's like, just hear me out. I'm not gonna give the device to Isobel so she could give it to John, who's going to turn around and kill me. I like being a living dead person. And Elena's like, but it's gonna be useless. Bonnie can take away its powers. I don't trust her. Bonnie says, I can remove the original spell. And Elena says, John and Isobel will never know. And Damon, no, I'll get Jeremy in my own way. And Stefan, really? And how are you gonna do that? Because Isobel is a vampire and Jeremy could be dead the second you walk in the door. Damon then turns to Bonnie and says, "Are you even up for this? I mean, no offense. You're no Emily Bennett. Emily knew what she was doing." Then Bonnie tells him that she's been practicing, and Damon is like, "Oh, it's not like piano lessons." And now we come across this super cool Bonnie scene. Actually, it's not. I mean, it's not cool at all. It's like really, really bad. So, I think it was supposed to be very cool, but it didn't. It really like totally missed the target because it's actually very funny to me. But anyways, Bonnie tells to Damon, "What's your favorite book?" And Damon's like, "What?" And she's like, "Name a book, any book." And Damon, name a book. How about Call of the Wild, Jack London? Then Bonnie turns to the library and she is focusing. And then a book flies out of the library right into Damon's hand. And he looks at it and says, "Jack London, great parlor trick." Which I love. And Elena's like, "We're doing this, Damon, and we're gonna do it my way. Now give me the device. We're wasting time." Damon then turns to Bonnie and says, "I don't trust you. I tried to kill you." And Bonnie, "You're right. You can't trust me." And Elena, "But you can trust me." Damon then looks at Elena and he gives her the device and she thanks him. And when he's given it to her, like in her hand, they have this intense look. And then he grabs her hand a little bit and squeezes for like a couple of seconds. And Stefan is watching this very closely. I also like how in the scene Elena is so sure that Damon is gonna give it to her. So I think she realizes what power she has over him. And again, back to the very cool but like not really Bonnie scene, how she wanted to show Damon how she is such a cool, powerful, witchy bitch. I think it totally missed the point because it was so embarrassing, and I mean, I could probably do that with a little bit of will. I mean, no, I'm joking, but like, like, let me know in the comments if you thought that was like a cool way to show that you are a powerful witch by getting a book out of a library. I mean, name a book, any book. I mean, come on, Bonnie. Like, you know what she could have done? Like that imaginary fire. Like she could have set the whole living room with imaginary fire. That would be like a wow effect. Like nobody would get hurt, but like there would be an illusion of a fire or something, right? But no, she went for a parlor trick with the book. And I remember that this scene was funny to me from the first time I watched it. I actually do remember that I was like, Jesus, what was that? Anyways, again in the scene, we have the ever-present fire in the fireplace in the Salvatore's house, which I'm sure Dobby the elf is probably taking care of because there's no other explanation how that fire is going in every episode and at all times. I mean, it looks really cozy, but like it's not possible that they would be just having their fire going at all times. And again, as I said, they should have showed us that they have like someone taking care of the house, like a housekeeper who would be doing that, but anyways, in the next scene, we are back in Isobel's house, or the house she is staying, and John is still laying on the floor, and then Jeremy is coming over to him with a towel and gives it to him. John thanks him, and then Jeremy is asking John, what is she after, meaning Isobel. And John tells him that your ancestor invented a weapon, a device that is extremely harmful to vampires, and we've been trying to get it. Why? Because there's a group of vampires from a long time ago that wants revenge on this town. But why would a vampire help you kill other vampires? She has her own reasons for wanting them dead. Look, Jeremy, no one ever thought vampires would return to this town. Not in modern times, but they have, and we have to destroy them. All of them? No, there are some good ones out there. There's no such things. I don't believe that. Well, your dad did, and as his son, that should mean something to you. How did my father know about all this? Who do you think told me about the family history? In the next scene, we are back at the Salvatore's house and we see the spellbook open. That was Emily's, and the device is laying next to it, and Bonnie is starting a spell. Damon, Stefan, and Elena are watching her. Elena is looking at Damon, who just looks very unconvinced, and then Elena looks at him with this look like, hey, like zip it. And Damon like rolls his eyes in such a funny way to like show her that he thinks it's bullshit. And it's such a funny scene. It might be one of my favorites in this episode. So then Bonnie finishes the spell. I mean, it was just, she just picked up the device with a spell, and then she says some words and the lights flicker, and then she's like, it's done. And then she gives the device to Elena. Damon's like, great, now what? And Elena says, now we give it to Isobel. And in the next scene, we are in the town square where Elena is waiting at Isobel. And she is walking in a second. And this scene, again, is like written so weirdly. We'll talk about it after we get through it. But just bear with me here. Isobel, where's the device? Where is my brother? This isn't a negotiation. Where is the invention? Where is my brother? Do you really think that I came alone? And then Sherry and Frank appear behind Elena. Elena says, did you really think that I came alone? And Stefan and Damon appear behind Isobel. And then Isobel says, for God's sakes, call home. What? Call home and ask to speak to your brother Jeremy. So Lena calls home. Jerry picks it up. She asks him if he's okay. He says that yes, but Uncle John just hit his head. It was an accident. And Jenna says in the background, we were all laughing. I just love how she hates him. And then Jerry again says that he's okay. And Elena says, I'll be home soon. Then Elena says to Isobel, you were never going to hurt him. No. I was going to kill him. Don't look for any redeeming qualities in me. I don't have any. But you took a risk with Damon. How did you know that he was going to give it to me? Because he's in love with you. Then there's a long pause, and then Elena gives her the device and says, thank you. And Isabel's like, for what? For being such a monumental disappointment. It keeps the memory of my real mother perfectly intact. Then Isabel's like, goodbye, Elena. As long as you have a Salvatore on each arm, you're doomed. Catherine was smart. She got out. But we all know that you're not Catherine. Then Isobel looks at her and walks away. And we can see that even though Elena is trying to play it cool and that she's not affected by this and by what Isobel is and how she is, you can tell that it does bother her. And then Stefan walks over to Elena and hugs her. And she is looking at Damon. Like when Stefan is hugging her, she's looking at over like Stefan's shoulder and looking at Damon, who is looking back at her. Then Stefan catches Damon's look and Damon looks away. And again, super embarrassing timing with the did you think I come alone? And then Frank and Sherry appear. Did you think I come alone? And then Stefan and Damon appear. Like, was there someone like with a stopwatch like sending them out there? And I don't know, just the whole conversation in the beginning is just super weird. I don't know. In the next scene, Jeremy is leaving another voicemail for Anna, and then Elena is coming into his room and she says, Jeremy, we have to talk about all of this. No, we really don't. I don't know what Anna told you, but there are things that you need to know. Yeah? Because I'm pretty sure that your journal covered it. You read my journal? And save me the speech about invasion of privacy, because I read a section about Damon erasing my memory about what happened to Vicky. Jeremy, please, you don't understand. The night that Vicky died, it was like Mom and Dad died all over again. It was all over your face, and it hurt me so much to see you like that. I just wanted to take away your pain. I'm so sorry. Get out. No, Jeremy. Elena, just get out, please. And she's like, sure, but she shoves the door in her face. And I think that if Jeremy didn't read Elena's journal, she was ready to tell him everything she knows in this scene, but she missed it by an episode or two. Then we are back in the school, in the high school, where we see Rick in an empty hallway where Isobel is already waiting for him. And he says, "What do you want?" I totally get it. You here as a history teacher, it's good. What the hell are you doing? You act like you don't care, and yet here you are hunting me down. I'm leaving. I just thought I said goodbye. You couldn't be bothered the first time, so why now? You hate me. Good. Does it make it easier for you? I mean, what is the whole point of this exercise? What did you expect? You spent all this time trying to track me down. What did you think you could find? The woman who gave me this, and he shows her his ring. I mean, you act like you don't care, but you care enough to protect me after you left. I was a different person back then. Right. And that person is gone. The woman that I married, the woman I loved, she's just gone. You expect me to believe that? Rick takes off his ring and he throws it at her. And then he also throws away the vervain that he has on him. And Isobel is like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I'm ring free, I'm vervain free, so either kill me or compel me, because I don't believe it, not for a second." Isobel then shoves him by the wall and says, "I wanted this. I needed this. And I'm going to regret it forever. This was my mistake, not yours." And then she compels him. "You're not going to remember this. I loved you. I did. And when I think about what I gave up, it hurts. But now your heart is free of me. It's easier this way. Goodbye, Rick." And she puts back his ring. She touches his face and then she leaves. And then Rick wakes up from this dream state. In the next scene, Jeremy is getting ready for bed when Anna appears. And Jeremy is asking her, "What are you doing here?" And Anna is crying. She's like, "My mother, she's dead." "What?" "She was killed." "Oh my God, Anna, I'm so sorry. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I don't have anywhere else to go." "It's okay." And then Jeremy hugs her. But I don't really understand, why... What took Anna so long to go to Jeremy? I mean, this entire episode he's trying to reach her and she's not replying, she's not responding, and she only comes now. And she says she didn't know where to go. I mean, she could have come to him because she knew that it would be okay. And then she says, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I don't have anywhere else to go. The only reason why it would make sense to me that she says that is that maybe she's afraid of running into Uncle John because she knows that he killed her mom, I guess. But where was Anna this whole episode? I don't know. In the next scene, we are in the Salvatore's house where Damon is pouring himself a glass of probably bourbon and Stefan is walking in. And Damon asks him, "Would you like one?" Then he looks at Stefan's face and says, "Say it, whatever it is, purge, get it out." And he makes this funny scene with his hand, almost like an Italian would make when speaking. And Stefan's like, "It's about what Isobel said." "What about?" "Well, I know that you and Elena have bonded, and I know that she cares about you, and I know you care about her." "Well, this is going in an interesting direction. I'm just concerned about Elena being hurt. She considers you a friend." "Same here. Elena is a very good friend. Actually, she might qualify as my only friend. Is that a problem?" So, at the risk of sounding like jealous boyfriend, "Oh, there is no risk. You do. History will not be repeating itself where Elena is concerned. Do you understand what I'm saying?" Sure. Then Stefan vamps beats in front of Damon and says, "Do you understand?" "Whatever you say, man. I mean, honestly, we're just friends. And as a friend, I wasn't looking forward to telling her the truth anyway, so I'll let you do it." "What truth?" "About John. Because I know you guys don't like to keep secrets from each other." "What are you talking about?" Am I the only one around here who has the ability to put two and two together? Isobel. Hello? She dated John when she was 15. She gets pregnant and ends up at the doctor's office of John's brother. Now, what do you think John's role is in all of this? I mean, go ahead and think about it. I'll wait. Did you get it? You there yet? So you think that John is Elena's father? Ding, 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 ding. What proof do you have? I don't need any proof. That's a DNA test for John, Elena, and Maury Povich to deal with. But I know how well you deal with these bombs, so sleep tight. And then Damon leaves, and before he exits the room, he says, "Oh, and when you do tell Elena and she needs a friend to talk to about anything, I'm here for her." And then he walks away, and Stefan is just looking after him what? Then we are at Elena's house, where John is sitting outside on the porch, and his phone rings, and he picks it up, and it is Isobel. And she says, "On your doorstep, you'll find what you've been looking for." And John says, "And my ring? Don't screw this up. You know what you have to do, John." "I got it. I won't fail." "You better not. Catherine wants all of those tomb vampires dead, and I want to add 2 more to that list." "Let me guess." Isobel says, "Stefan and Damon. I don't want this life for her." "That was always part of the plan. Consider them gone." "She's our daughter, John. We owe that to her." And he says, "I know." Which is a super huge revelation of this episode, that Uncle John is Elena's dad. Ugh. Then there is a very last scene of this episode, and it's Caroline and Bonnie in the grill. Caroline says, "So you're not gonna tell me what happened?" "I did something bad, Caroline, and I lied about it." "To who?" "To Elena. I pretended to do something I didn't really do." "What are you talking about?" "I couldn't do what she wanted me to do. It wasn't right. Grams would have never done it, so I couldn't either. But when Elena finds out, she's never gonna forgive me." So this is a big plot twist, because Bonnie admits here that she actually didn't do the spell on the device, so it will still be working against vampires. And this, my friends, is the end of 21st episode, which is called Isobel. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I have a couple notes to end this episode with. I feel like in this episode, Isobel is super confusing, because in one scene she's like, human life means nothing to me. Then she goes to Rick, though, and shows that she cares about him and she regrets her decision, and then the same thing with Elena. She shows Elena that she doesn't care at all about her or anything, but then at the end she tells John she's her daughter, we owe it to her. So which is it? Which one is it? Are you good? Are you bad? Pick one. This is very confusing. She should either have her emotions completely off and be a menace and be the badass that she wants to be, or she should have feelings and be able to show them to her daughter when she's talking to her. I mean, again, like I say, I really don't like Isabel. So I'm not feeling it. So what is it? Bad, good, pick one. I love Damon and his eye rolling in this episode, and very intense look between them. I hate Mr. Uncle John, which, I just cannot get over it. And also Stefan is noticing feelings between Elena and Damon in this episode. I'm super excited about next episode. And also wanted to mention that I'm watching now a show on Hulu that is called Witches of East End. It's an old show. It's from 2012. But I already found Matt's dad on the show. He plays Victor on this show. I mean, I know we haven't met Matt's dad yet in the first season, but he appears later on. I want to say season 5, 6, maybe later even. But it is the same actor, for those of you who already watched the entire show. And also there was Emily, actress who plays Emily Bennett on The Vampire Diaries, is in this Witches of East End show, and she also plays a witch. So if you want to check that show out, it's not, it reminds me a little bit of Charmed, if you ever watched that. It's more like don't expect any big themes, any big storylines. It's more like, like I watch it when I do my paint by number, or when I want to just have something in the background that is relaxing to me. So that's good. I also started watching Lock and Smith, or Locky and Smith, on a Netflix. I think that came out in 2022. It has 3 seasons. I have to see if they will be making another one. I'm just starting season 3, and I really like it. I think if you like Vampire Diaries, you would definitely like this show as well. If you haven't watched it yet, give it a try. It is definitely a fantasy show. There isn't vampires in it, but it is supernatural and it's cute. I like it a lot. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Again, I apologize that it has been late. I also had troubles with editing these episodes, these 2 last ones, because I don't know, Riverside has just gave up on me and didn't want to work. There was an update that they did, and it's completely messed up. I reached out to tech support, so I will see what they will tell me. But hopefully it's okay to listen to this episode the way it is right now, and I hope that you're doing great, and please just take care of yourself. What happened with my husband this past week has been really scary, and really kind of opened my eyes that so many times we just stress over total bullshit, when the only thing we really need to take care of is our health, our mental health, physical health, and all of that. So please be gentle with yourself, and be careful, and just take care of yourself. And I hope that you have, or you will have, a wonderful week, and we will meet here again next time. Bye.